Hi, I am Ilana Bell, and I am the creator of Writing Woman and Writing the Human Heart. And I believe that every human being's voice is valuable, and that by learning to access and share our stories and listen to the stories of others, we make room for wholeness in our fractured global community. And today, what I'm going to tell you about is a brand new offering that I have created especially for women called Writing Woman. And Writing Woman is a 4-month journey. It's an embodied creative writing and ritual experience that I have created for women as a place where we can come together to share our stories about all the aspects of womanhood, about our relationships to our bodies, about our relationships to other women, about being daughters, about being mothers, about fertility and birth and aging. It is a sacred container for us to come together and explore those stories. And the reason I created Writing Woman is because, at a certain point in my life, my mother grew very ill, and I lost the woman that I had kind of grown up with and that had been my emotional and spiritual rock. And I was thrust into a sense of isolation and deep grief. And there wasn't really any place to talk about it. And so I turned to creative writing, to writing and poetry, which is what I've always turned to as a place to explore the deep questions. But what I found was I didn't want to be exploring these questions alone and in isolation. I wanted to be exploring them with other women. And in my work, as an educator, I've worked with people from all over the world, with women in prison, students in the Bronx, in the Middle East. And what I found as I was talking to, especially to the women, is that we all have these stories that are shadowed, stories about our grief, stories about anxiety and depression, about what it means to, even our birth stories, all these aspects of womanhood that we're kind of keeping under wraps. And in that keeping it under wraps and keeping it hidden, we were missing the opportunity to transform our wounds into tremendous power. And so what I envisioned and desired to create was a space where we could all come together and explore these issues, not alone, but in sacred community. And through that exploration, through that expressiveness, we become embodied, confident, vibrant, alive, and able to go out in the world and do our work with even more power and juiciness. And I also discovered that this wasn't the kind of thing that writing, sitting in a room by yourself, just writing away was going to do it, but it needed to be something embodied. That so much information and power lies in our bodies and in our experiences with our senses. And so Writing Woman is really that. It is really a embodied journey, a ritual journey that uses so many different tools: meditation, sensory experience, writing, movement, voice, and sacred community as the container. So you're going to get a little taste of it today. I am going to, if that sounds good to you, I'm going to give you just a little bit of a taste of it today. So what you're going to need, and you can pause this after I tell you what you're going to need so you can gather it. You're going to need a piece of paper and a pen, or notebook if you have a special notebook. And you are going to need things that titillate your senses. So I have with me right now today, I have a feather, but you can use anything. It can be a piece of soft cloth. It can be your favorite teddy bear. It can be a pillow, anything. It doesn't even have to be soft. It can be something rough. It's just something that has a lot of sensation to the touch. And then you're going to find something that evokes your sense of smell. So I have right here a bottle of delicious essential oil, jasmine oil, but something that would work just as well is some cinnamon from your cupboard, or a sock that has your favorite lovers, anything that is evocative of the senses. And then finally, you're going to need something delicious that you can taste. So I have right here some delicious chocolate. So you're going to gather those things. So if you need to pause the video or come back to it in a few moments, you can do that. I'm going to give you a moment. Okay. So we're back, and I'm going to ask you first to find a really comfortable place to sit. That can be in a chair. It could be anywhere that you feel you can relax your body. I'm going to ask you to close your eyes and just start to focus on your breath, your in-breath and your out-breath. Relax into that rhythm. And with each out-breath, you can release whatever your big to-do list is, anything you've been worrying about, and just bring yourself into this moment. And with every breath in, bring yourself into the room. What do you smell? What do you hear? What do you feel? Notice the way the air feels on your skin. Notice any sounds you hear outside your body and inside your body. Relax deeply into the rhythm of your own heartbeat. See if you can feel it in your chest. And still keeping your eyes closed, I want you to reach for the object, whatever one comes most quickly to your hands. Maybe it's the touch. And I want you to just run that object over your skin and feel it. And pay attention to the sensation. What does it feel like against your cheek, your neck, your throat? And see if any images come to mind, any pictures of a particular moment in your life, or just focus on the sensation itself. Let it fill you. And when you've had enough, you can put that down, pick up your next object. Maybe it'll be the object you can smell. And take a nice long inhale. Let yourself feel whatever that smell reminds you of. Maybe it brings to mind a particular moment or experience from your childhood or something more recently. And let yourself fill with that experience. Feel it all throughout your body. Is there a particular place that it evokes? A person that you've been with? Feel that memory. And when you feel full of that memory, I'm going to ask you to reach over and pull out your last object. This is going to be the taste, everybody's favorite. You can hear that paper crinkling. So you're going to pull whatever your object of taste is. And actually, I'm going to ask you first to smell it. Notice your mouth begin to watering. You can even look at it, actually. You can open your eyes for a moment and look at it. Notice the color, the shape. Close your eyes again. Bring it towards your mouth. Take a bite. Let your mouth fill with the taste, all the different notes, bitterness and sweetness, what the texture is. And see if that taste brings you back to a particular moment, a particular memory, and let yourself fill with it. And when you feel full, I want you to open your eyes and grab your piece of paper. And I'm going to ask you to set a timer in a moment for 5 minutes. And I'm going to give you one simple prompt. And I'm going to ask you to, as you're writing, to forget about the critic, forget about your second grade teacher who told you couldn't spell, forget about anybody who's ever sort of told you this is good, this is bad. That's really not what you're accessing right now. You're trying to access that space beneath that. You're trying to go into the place deep, deep, deep within you, the place of memory, the place of story, the place of experience. And all I'm going to ask you to do as soon as you start that timer is you're going to write the phrase, I remember, at the top. You're just going to go and you're going to let whatever memories surface. And maybe it's what you smell, and maybe it's what you taste, and maybe it's that direct and specific, and maybe it's something that never even happened to you. But you're just going to let yourself go and let that pen keep moving until the timer goes off. And if you're stuck and you don't know what to write, you just keep writing, I remember, I remember, I remember. And at the end of that, I'm going to ask you to read what you've written. And just enjoy it, to savor that part of your experience. So in a moment, I'm going to wish you happy writing and say that if this is something that interests you or titillates you, please be in touch. I would love to share Writing Woman with you.